So we have a big breaking news coming out when it comes to nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. It says here Iran has vowed to retaliate for US airstrikes on its nuclear facility and has two main options: attacking American forces in the region and closing the strategic Strait of Hormuz. An advisor to Iran's supreme leader issued a warning on Sunday saying any U.S. base in the region that takes part in the attack was a legitimate target, disrupting traffic through the narrowed Strait of Hormuz, a vital route for oil and gas, will send energy prices soaring in a global inflationary shock. All right. So once again, this is a big breaking news. Iran is putting out their message. They will strike. They will retaliate. Military bases or vital waterway. Iran raids response to U.S. strikes. All right, guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Please share the video, guys. These nation against nation is building up really, really quick. Closing the waterway will be extremely dangerous. Kaja Kallas, the European Union's top diplomat, said on Monday. AFP looks at the two scenarios and their possible implications. Strait of Hormuz, the narrow U-shaped seaway snacking between Iran and the Arabian Peninsula, is the gateway for Gulf energy shipments to global markets, carrying 1/5 of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas exports. Closing the 50-kilometer, 30-mile wide channel could spike oil to $120 a barrel, according to the Deutsche Bank research, raising prices of transport, food, and utilities around the world. You hear that? Raising prices, transport, food, and utilities around the world. Are you ready? Now, here's the thing. A lot of people say that what Donald did was a good thing. What Donald Trump did was a good thing. He hit Iran nuclear facility and don't mess with the U.S. Well, here's the consequences. Prices are going to go up for oil, for food, utilities, gas. This is the consequence. All right, so this is a consequence. I'm not bashing Donald. All right, you guys know I support Donald. I like Donald. Again, he's a good businessman. He does a lot of great stuff for this country. But I just feel like he made a big mistake on this one here. Now, a lot of people's not going to agree with me. But again, everybody went after Joe when Joe started the war with Russia. Everybody went after him. But when it comes to Donald, it's a whole different story. All right. So again, like I said, I'm not trying to bash no one here, but these biblical wars. This is something that we did not voted for. Donald said that he was going to end these wars, not start them. All right. So a lot of people is going to be like, he didn't start anything. Well, he hit a foreign country. It was none of our business. That's between the Holy Land and Iran. Just like it's none of our business, that's between Ukraine and Russia. That's their problem. And look, don't get me wrong, we back the Holy Land, we back Israel. But God will not allow Israel to be wiped out, the Bible says. It is in the best interest of all Middle Eastern countries to keep the Strait of Hormuz open and prevent any supply disruption. Well, it's going to be hard now because they got hit. They got hit and they warned U.S. about this consequence. Currently, traders do not appear too concerned. Brent crude was trading at $76 on Monday, $76 on Monday. Little change from Friday's close. Looking at the oil price this morning, it is clear that the oil market doesn't assign a very high probability of a closure happening. Now, the big question is whether Iran is prepared to detonate this economic hand grenade. Okay, economic hand grenade, despite threats in the past, including in 2011, as the oil sanctions loomed, it has not pulled the pin of the grenade. All right. According to a senior European official, the Iranians do not have the means to block the strait long term, but they could hamper shipping. But it would be a form of suicide to do that, the official said. The effect on Israel will be close to zero. The effect on themselves immense, as well as on the US, Europe, and China. Iranian forces have nearly 200 fast patrol boats that can fire anti-ship missiles or torpedoes, plus mine layers vessels, according to the International Institute for Strategic Studies. But the U.S. Fifth Fleet, a major naval force, is stationed across the Gulf, and the Bahrain and Iran remains under daily fire from Israeli warplanes and drones. This nation against nation is building up. Iran's own energy exports, in spite of sanctions, remain an important source of income for the world's ninth biggest oil producing country, U.S. bases. With the U.S. military bases spread around the Gulf countries to Iran west, there is no shortage of potential targets. Kuwait, and a legacy of the 1990 Gulf War, houses about 13,500 U.S. forces. Please pray for those forces there. Please pray for them. While the biggest U.S. base in the region is Al Udeid in Qatar. Now, the U.S. Fifth Fleet, covering the Gulf, Red Sea, and parts of the Indian Ocean, is based in Bahrain, and about 3,500 U.S. personnel are stationed at the Fra Air Base in the UAE. This is why it took Donald a while to make that decision to strike the nuclear facility, because the aftermath of all this is what's going to impact the entire world. The rich people are safe. The rich people, they got their money. I mean, they got the stuff. They're not gonna fear anything. I mean, they got bunkers. They got, again, gold. They got everything. The poor is gonna get hit. The rich get richer, and the poor gets poorer. All right. So again, it's, I mean, that's the way it is, in this fallen world. So be prepared, because I do believe Iran is gonna hit. They're gonna hit hard. All right. So, and they're gonna close the Strait of Hormuz. It wasn't voted in yet, but I do believe that it's gonna happen, and that's going to raise the prices worldwide. Now, Marco Rubio is urging China, please get involved and tell Iran not to mess with the Strait of Hormuz. Increased U.S. involvement in the Iran-Israel war risk attacks on U.S. interests, U.S. bases U.S. bases and such across the region. The U.S. attack on Iran has now meant that this war is between Israel, the U.S., and Iran. It should have been only Israel and Iran. God will back the Holy Land. And we will back the Holy Land. But again, us firing towards a foreign country, I just feel like that's a whole different ballgame now. Which means that across the region, Iran may seek to target the U.S. There you go. The U.S. We need to pray for those U.S. soldiers out there, guys. I'm telling you, we need to pray for them. However, this option is also fraught for Iran, as it risks isolating itself from the powerful Gulf monarchies that enjoy good relations with Washington. Tehran is unlikely to strike Gulf Arab states. Even as it sees the UAE and Saudi Arabia as quiet enablers of the U.S.-Israeli axis, Iran understand that any strike on their soil will likely unify them against it and open the door up for greater American military presence. Now, instead, Iran may issue veiled warnings to the state, use regional proxies to pressure them, or engage in cyber or intelligence disruption targeting their interest, maintaining plausible deniability while raising cost of involvement. All right, so that's one of the latest breaking news here, guys. What are your thoughts? Leave comments down below. Once again, you have military bases or vital waterway. Iran waids response to U.S. strikes. And boy, oh boy, you better start stocking up now, because things are going to hit the fan. The food prices, electric, the gas. Like I say, guys, all this is Bible prophecy. We need to pray for our leaders. We need to pray for each other. Pray for me and not pray for you. So again, we are definitely seeing Bible prophecy of nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please share the video. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.